Okay, so if you're tuning in, you're likely keen to get a handle on the Hunt County real estate market, specifically what happened in March 2025.
Yeah, and we've got the data compiled by HRC Realty right here. It gives us a pretty clear picture.
Exactly. So we're going to do a quick deep dive comparing this March to March 2024 to get straight to the key shifts HRC Realty highlighted.
Sounds good. I guess the main takeaway right off the bat is things have slowed down a bit.
Slowed down how? Fewer homes selling.
Yeah, that's the big one. HRC Realty clocked 123 residential sales this March.
Okay. And last year?
Last March, it was 174.
Wow. Okay, that's what, nearly a 30% drop.
29%, yeah. So a definite softening in just the sheer number of transactions.
Right, fewer deals getting done. But what about the prices for the homes that did sell? Did they drop too?
That's where it gets interesting. Not really. The average sales price actually nudged up slightly.
Up, even with fewer sales?
Just barely, from about $343,800 last year to $345,000 this March. So like 0.4%, almost flat.
Huh. And the median price? Sometimes that tells a different story.
The median dipped a tiny bit, about 1.2%, down to roughly $294,800 from $298,500.
So basically, prices are holding steady despite that big drop in sales volume.
Pretty much, yeah. Relative stability on the price front based on this HRC data.
Okay. What about how long it's taking to sell? The days on market.
Yeah. That's another significant shift. Homes are sitting longer.
How much longer?
The average went from 68 days on market last March up to 88 days this March.
88. So an extra 20 days, nearly 3 weeks longer on average.
Exactly. A 29% increase, same percentage drop as the sales volume, funnily enough.
That suggests buyers are maybe being more cautious or sellers are holding out.
Could be a bit of both. Definitely indicates a shift in the pace of the market. Buyers aren't rushing in quite like before.
Now, HRC Realty also broke out new construction. How did that segment fare?
It saw an even bigger slowdown, actually.
Really?
Yeah, new home sales dropped from 77 last March down to just 44 this March.
44 from 77.
Yeah.
That's a huge percentage drop.
It's a 43% decrease. So demand for new builds definitely cooled off more sharply than the overall market.
And the prices for those new homes, did they follow the overall trend of staying stable?
Pretty much, yeah. Very minor changes. Average new home price dipped 0.3%. Median new home price fell about 1.7%.
So again, stable prices, even with that steep drop in sales for new builds.
Seems that way. Builders weren't slashing prices dramatically in March, at least.
But did those new homes also take longer to sell? I imagine they must have.
Oh, absolutely. And significantly longer. That's maybe the most dramatic number in the HRC report.
Okay, what was it?
Average days on market for new homes, it jumped from 69 days last year to 121 days this March.
121 days. Wow, that's like double almost, a 75% increase.
Yeah, 75%. That really points towards, maybe some builder inventory piling up or buyers being really hesitant on new construction right now.
Makes sense. Okay, one more piece from HRC Realty. Seller contributions. Yeah, incentives to buyers. What happened there?
Right, seller concessions. So overall, the percentage of deals that included seller contributions was actually very similar, maybe down just a fraction. 52.8% this year versus 53.4% last year.
So about half the deals still have them, but what about the amount?
That went up. The average contribution increased from around $9,300 last year to almost $10,000 this year.
So a jump of, what is that, about 7%?
Yeah, 6.9%. So sellers who are contributing are having to put a bit more skin in the game on average.
And specifically for new homes, were builders ponying up more too?
Similar pattern there. A slightly smaller percentage of new home sales had contributions 75% this year versus 78% last year.
Okay.
But the average amount they contributed rose from about $11,350 to nearly $12,000.
So about a 5% increase in the average contribution from builders.
Exactly, a 5.3% rise. It definitely suggests builders are using those higher incentives to try and move inventory in this slower environment.
Okay, let's try and summarize this March picture from HRC Realty then, compared to last year.
Well, fewer homes are selling, especially new ones. Big drop in volume.
Right, volume down significantly, and homes are taking noticeably longer to sell, almost 3 weeks longer on average, and much longer for new builds.
Yep, days on market way up. But prices, they've stayed surprisingly stable. No major dips in average or median prices.
Okay, stable prices. And finally, seller incentives are becoming a bit more generous on average, particularly from builders trying to sweeten the deal.
That pretty much captures the key shifts HRC Realty's data is showing for Hunt County in March 2025 versus 2024. a cooling market, but not necessarily a collapsing one, price-wise.
So for everyone listening and trying to make sense of this Hunt County market using this HRC data, you've got lower activity, longer waits, stable prices, and rising incentives.
That's the snapshot.
The question then becomes, what does this mean heading into the spring and summer? What might actually, kickstart more buyer activity again? Something to chew on based on these trends.
Definitely worth watching how things evolve from here.
Well, thanks for breaking down that HRC Realty data with us.
My pleasure.